All eyes were definitely on quarterback Joe Burrow after the Cincinnati Bengals won the AFC Championship and advanced to the Super Bowl for the first time in over 30 years in 2022. The QB stunned football fans with an 18-point comeback against the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending conference champions, before winning the game in overtime. Call it swagger, call it aura, call it whatever you want, Joe Burrow has a special quality about him. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Joe Burrow's story. We're going to look at how he struggled with mental health and how he's endured several injuries in his career. Burrow would not only be playing in his first Super Bowl in his second year in the NFL, but the win would also come just 2 years after he won the college football national championship at Louisiana State University. Burrow spoke to the press and said, "I think if you would have told me before the season that we'd be going to the Super Bowl, I would have called you crazy, but we played a whole season and nothing surprises me now." Burrow may be relishing his newfound celebrity, but he hasn't always had it easy. According to 247 Sports, he said, "I think I am who I am because of the difficult times that I went through in my career. If you look at all the quarterbacks that were in the playoffs, a lot of them have gone through a lot of adversity throughout their careers." In November 2020, while still in his rookie season in the NFL, Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow had a devastating knee injury that nearly destroyed his entire football career. Burrow tore his ACL and MCL as well as a portion of his PCL and meniscus while playing against the Washington Redskins. Joe was forced to sit out the remainder of the year and had reconstructive surgery as a result. Despite the fact that recovery wasn't easy, Joe was focused on getting better, recuperating, and being ready to play as soon as possible. Joe Burrow's knee injury and recovery caused him not just physical misery, but also mental anguish. The former NCAA champion appeared to be aware that his injury could spell the end of his career, and the prospect of making a huge recovery while dealing with physical restrictions was obviously very difficult for the athlete. He explained to CBS Sports, he said, "At the beginning of training camp, I was going through a little mental hurdle that I had to get over." The quarterback added that he overcame it by attacking every day with an intensity that I think is necessary to get me back. Burrow stated that his confidence was already being shaken. He said that he didn't expect to be that way, but that he was thinking about a lot of things. He also stated that recovery is a mental process. Burrow didn't appear concerned about discussing his internal struggle, perhaps because he has previously spoken out on mental health. In 2019, during the SEC Media Days, Burrows told Fox 17, "We're shifting towards being manly is expressing your feelings." He added, "I think it is important to talk about adversity that you're faced and low points in your life to show that it's okay to be depressed. It's okay to be sad and anxious and have anxiety." As if dealing with a near career-ending knee injury wasn't enough for Joe Burrow, the Cincinnati Bengals quarterback experienced 2 more major ailments in 2021, both of which resulted in setbacks. According to ESPN, the quarterback suffered a terrible throat contusion during a game against the Green Bay Packers in October of that year. Burrow's injury was reportedly severe enough that he had to be admitted to a hospital rather than being treated by his team's physicians. Burrow was injured on the field again in December 2021, this time injuring his pinky finger during a game against the Los Angeles Chargers. What made things worse was that it was his throwing hand that was the problem. He told the press via ESPN that anytime you have a finger injury on your throwing hand, it takes some tweaking to see how you'll be able to toss the ball. Burrow's throwing hand had been injured previously as well. The athlete missed part of the 2017 season at Ohio State after breaking a bone in his right hand, according to 11 Warriors. Fans may be surprised to learn that NFL great Joe Burrow grew up in a poverty-stricken region of Ohio. Burrow seemed to have been affected by seeing several of his friends and classmates go hungry. In his acceptance speech for the 2019 Heisman Trophy, the football player addressed that issue. He explained, "Coming from Southeast Ohio, it's a very impoverished area. The poverty rate is almost 2 times the national average. There are so many people out there that don't have a lot." Burrow resounded that he hadn't forgotten where he came from, adding, "I'm up here for all those kids in Athens and Athens County that go home to not a lot of food on the table, hungry after school." Although Burrow revealed to the New York Times that he lived in upper-middle-class neighborhoods before his family moved to Athens and the Plains, he claimed when it came to the town he calls home, he understood that it was a poor area when he was young. "You see these low-income homes that I hadn't really seen before?" The NFL star did add, "Though you don't really understand the magnitude until you get older." The quarterback then went on to establish the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund. In addition to establishing the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund, the quarterback's Heisman speech resulted in a surge of volunteers at Athens food banks. It's also no secret that Joe Burrow had a hard time at Ohio State University. Despite being recruited for football, he only received a few minutes on the field during his time there, acting as the team's backup and then third-string quarterback. It didn't help that his then coach, Urban Meyer, was reportedly harsh on him, telling him that he threw like a girl at one point. Burrow mentioned that when Urban Meyer gets a new quarterback there as a freshman, he kind of pokes and prods them to see what they can take. Joe Burrow had to make the difficult decision to move to Louisiana State University late in his college career after things did not go as planned at Ohio State. Joe finally had to leave Ohio State in order to play more football, but the decision appeared to be a difficult one. Joe Burrow's experience at Louisiana State University was obviously memorable because it paved the way for his current NFL career. Burrow was also close to his teammates and coaches at the time. That's why it's likely that learning that offensive coordinator Steve Ensminger's daughter-in-law, Carly McCord, was one of the 5 individuals killed in an aircraft crash was terrible for him. According to the New York Post, McCord was on his way to witness Burrow and the rest of the Tigers play in the Peach Bowl when the jet went down no longer after taking off in Louisiana on December 28, 2019. Burrow's situation was made much more heartbreaking by the fact that ESPN reporter Dari Nauka informed him of his coach's family member's death live on TV. After Nauka asked him about the tragedy, Burrow appeared startled and exclaimed, "Oh my gosh." Nauka later tweeted an apology writing, "I obviously feel horrible to have been the one to have broken the news of Carly McCord's passing to Joe. We never intended to hurt Joe." Joe also went through an ordeal in 2019 when his older brother, Jamie Burrow, and his wife Cody lost their unborn twins when she was 4 months pregnant. If you've made it this far in the video, we sincerely thank you. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of the content we upload. While you're here, you should check out our video on Aaron Donald. All these issues have only made him stronger as Burrow has revitalized a shambolic Cincinnati team that had staked its claim to fame as the league's cheapest and most consistent presence until the quarterback's arrival in 2020. Everything changed when Burrow walked through the door. You'll be unlikely to find another group that's so disconnected from the issues of the past. The Bengals have that wonderful sense of being a good but not great club a few years ahead of schedule. There's none of that bitterness of heartbreaking playoff defeats or the agony of years of toil. They're young, have a lot of fun, and aren't afraid of anything. Burrow arrived when the team had hit rock bottom. A 2-win season that secured the first overall pick in the draft and a chance to bring Burrow back to Ohio. And within 2 seasons, he's taken them to the Super Bowl. Tell us in the comments section where you think Joe Burrow ranks among the quarterbacks in the league, and we'll see you in the next video.